Let's start with the basics. What is MRP? You see it on almost every packaged item you buy. MRP stands for maximum retail price. This is the highest price that a shopkeeper can charge you for a product. The price is printed right on the package by the company that makes the item. This rule was put in place to protect you, the consumer. It stops retailers from overcharging you for everyday goods. So if a bottle of cold drink has an MRP of 20 rupees, the shop cannot legally sell it to you for 21. It is a simple system designed to ensure fairness for everyone, no matter where you shop. The MRP system has been a part of our lives for a long time. It was introduced back in 1990. The main idea was to bring order to the market. Before MRP, prices for the same product could be very different from one shop to another. This created a lot of confusion for buyers. The government wanted a clear and transparent pricing method. The MRP includes everything: the cost of making the product, transportation, taxes, and the profit for both the manufacturer and the retailer. This single, all-inclusive price was meant to make shopping simpler and prevent customers from being cheated by unfair pricing tactics. So, how does it really work? The company that produces the goods decides the MRP. They calculate all their costs and add a margin for profit. This final price is then printed on the wrapper or box. When the product reaches the store, the shopkeeper knows they cannot sell it for more than that printed amount. In fact, they can sell it for less if they want to. This often happens when stores offer discounts to attract more customers. The MRP acts as a price ceiling, not a fixed price. It gives you a clear benchmark, a maximum limit, so you know you are not paying more than you should be. The law that governs this is the Consumer Goods Act of 2006. This law makes it mandatory for all packaged commodities to display the MRP. It is a powerful tool for consumer rights in India. If a retailer tries to charge you more than the MRP, you have the right to complain. You can report them to consumer forums and they can be penalized. This system applies to a vast range of products, from a small packet of biscuits to a large television set. It does not, however, apply to things sold loose, like vegetables, or to services like a haircut or a taxi ride. It is specifically for pre-packaged goods. Now, if the MRP system was designed to protect us, why is the government thinking about changing it? The main issue is that the system is now being used in a way that can mislead consumers. Many companies are accused of setting an artificially high MRP. They print a very high price on the label, a price that is much more than the product's actual cost. This allows them to offer what looks like a huge discount. For example, a t-shirt might have an MRP of 1,999 rupees, but it is almost always sold for 999. This makes you feel like you're getting a great deal, a 50% discount. This practice of inflating the MRP has become very common, especially in online shopping and large retail stores. The high MRP creates a false sense of value. You see the original price and the discounted price and think you are saving a lot of money. However, the real value of the product might be much closer to the discounted price. The high MRP is just a marketing trick. The government is concerned that this is not fair to the consumer. It is not transparent. You are not really getting a discount. You are just paying a price that was planned from the beginning. This undermines the very purpose of the MRP system. Another problem is that the current system is very rigid. It does not allow for genuine differences in costs. Think about a cold drink sold in a city supermarket versus one sold in a small shop in a remote hill station. The cost of transporting that drink to the hill station is much higher. The shopkeeper there might also need to spend more on refrigeration. But because of the fixed MRP, they cannot charge a slightly higher price to cover their real expenses. This can make it difficult for small retailers in remote areas to do business. They are forced to sell at the same maximum price as a big city store with lower costs. This rigidity affects not just remote areas but also different types of stores. A shopkeeper in a premium location, like an airport, has to pay very high rent. Their operating costs are much higher than a small neighborhood store, yet they must sell a packet of chips at the same MRP. This inflexibility does not reflect the reality of running a business in different environments. Some argue that this one-size-fits-all approach is outdated. The market has changed a lot since 1990, and the pricing system, they say, needs to evolve with it to be fairer to both consumers and retailers. So, what are the new options being considered? The government is looking at two main alternatives to the current MRP system. The first one is called a Suggested Retail Price, or SRP. It is also known as a Recommended Retail Price, or RRP. This is a system used in many other countries, including the United States and parts of Europe. Under this model, the manufacturer would suggest a price for the product. However, this price would not be the legal maximum. It would just be a recommendation. The final selling price would be decided by the retailer. This SRP system would give shopkeepers more flexibility. They could adjust the price based on their specific costs and the local market. For instance, a shop in a remote area with high transport costs could sell a product for slightly more than the SRP. A large supermarket that buys in bulk could sell it for less. This would allow prices to reflect the true cost of getting the product to the customer. The idea is to create a more dynamic and realistic pricing environment. It would move away from the fixed ceiling of the MRP and allow for more variation based on genuine business factors. The second major idea involves using technology for better transparency. This proposal is about using QR codes on product packaging. When you are in a store, you could simply scan the QR code with your smartphone. This would instantly give you a lot more information about the product's pricing. For example, the QR code could show you the ex-factory price, which is the cost of the product when it leaves the factory. It could also show the different taxes applied and the logistics costs. This would give you a much clearer picture of how the final price is calculated. This digital tool would empower you, the consumer, to make more informed decisions. If you see that a product has a very high MRP compared to its ex-factory price, you will know that the discount being offered might not be as great as it seems. It brings a new level of transparency that is not possible with just a printed price. The government believes that if consumers have access to this detailed information, companies will be less likely to inflate prices unfairly. It is a way of using technology to ensure fairness and keep the market honest, without fixing prices directly. The proposal to change the MRP system has received mixed reactions. Different groups have different opinions on the matter. Manufacturers and big retail chains have their own views. Some of them are worried that removing the MRP could create chaos in the market. They argue that in a price-sensitive country like India, a clear price ceiling is important. It provides predictability for both businesses and consumers. Others in the industry, however, support the change. They believe a more flexible system like SRP would allow them to manage their costs better and compete more effectively in different markets. Consumer groups are also divided. Some feel that the current MRP system, despite its flaws, is a crucial protection. They worry that without a clear maximum price, retailers might start overcharging customers, especially in areas with less competition. On the other hand, some consumer advocates believe that the current system is already broken because of inflated MRPs. They think that a new system with more transparency, like the QR code proposal, could be a better way to protect consumer interests. They want a system that shows the real cost of things, not just a misleading sticker price. So where do things stand right now? As of July 2025, the discussions are still ongoing. The government, through the Consumer Affairs Department, has been holding meetings with all the stakeholders. They are listening to the concerns and suggestions from industry associations, consumer bodies, and tax officials. The goal is to find a solution that works for everyone. The government has made it clear that they are not trying to control prices directly. They simply want to create a fairer and more transparent system that prevents consumers from being misled by inflated prices and fake discounts. No final decision has been made yet, and the current MRP system remains in place. The process of changing such a long-standing policy is complex and takes time. The government is carefully weighing the pros and cons of each option. It is possible that we might see a combination of the proposed ideas. For example, some products might move to an SRP system, while others could have mandatory QR codes. For now, we must wait and watch. The next steps will depend on the outcome of these ongoing consultations. The future of how we see prices on our products is currently being written.